Welcome to another episode of Something for the People. This is your boy B Hunt, aka the Silent Prophet, along with my co-host Big Country.
What's good, people?
Top notch, and for your viewing pleasure, we have the lovely Brittany back in the building. So we're gonna jump right into it as we always do. If you are 25 minutes away from your house, and your friend pulls up to your house, but your partner's at the house, would you let the person in or make them sit in the car? What you doing?
I feel like if there is trust, like if you trust your spouse, why can't they come in the house? Like, and if you should trust your friend, in that case, you shouldn't be hanging with somebody that you can't trust. If they can't come in the house, that's a problem.
Yeah.
So okay, this whole thing came from off of Instagram. I was looking at Instagram, and they asked like 25 women about this, and every last one of them was like, "No, let that chick wait in the car." And I'm like,
no, that's my time to get to know her and get to know what's going on. Like, you know, to see what y'all's friendship is about, whatever the case is. But I feel like we should all be, like, your friends should be my friends should be your friends. I don't understand that. That don't make sense to me.
it was just weird to me because I'm like, this is one of my best friends. He's been my friend forever and a day. And I'm like, whether I'm an hour away, 30 minutes away,
he can come over.
If he need to come over,
and vice versa, right?
I told him he can crash in my man cave if he wants to or whatever. If you need me, let me know because he's like a brother to me.
Right.
I would never, even if, let's just say, somebody always says, "Oh, well, you never know if it's him or her." I think he would let me know if my wife, God forbid, had came on to him.
Right.
Or my wife would let me know,
That's
God
right.
forbid, if he came on to her.
Right.
Now, you do hear a lot of situations like that, but that's on some other levels, though. Like, you know.
How I see when it comes, vice versa. If it's Big Country, I ain't really got no issue. Like, it is what it is. I know him. Although I am a human being, right? There are people that I do socialize with that I just would be I don't feel comfortable
going
home, bro.
people.
But I feel like
you
most
know
of them know
that up front. Like, and then if it's somebody you just met, and I think that's an issue too. I think some people are like, they meet people and like, oh, it's my friend. Like, okay, you just met them. You don't even know them. So, of course, that's different. Like,
And that's one of my big things is everybody ain't your friend. Like, yeah.
Respect y'all. That ain't how that works.
But everybody's not your friend. Just because you call them your friend, don't make them your friend. I know for a fact this is one of my best friends.
Right.
I know for a fact I could trust him.
Right.
I'm like, if he call me, he know I'm on the way.
Right.
It's happened numerous times.
Yeah,
and I'm like, I would never in 1,000 years think he would screw me over.
Right.
So I'm like, yeah, hey, bruh. You come to the house, whatever, all that kind of stuff. I'm not worried. I trust my kids with you. I would hope you trust your kids with me. Stuff like that, because that's what it truly means. But you can't sit here and say everybody's your friend.
Right.
Everybody can't come to my house. That's why I don't invite everybody to my house.
Right.
And I especially am not going to let certain people come to my house and I'm not at my house.
Right.
Right.
But for you to say anybody, like...
But I think, too, people look at things based off of their life experiences. So if someone that has been hurt by that situation, they're going to be like, okay, close guard and nobody can come over. Even though it shouldn't be like that, but people are going to react based off of their life experiences or whatever they, encounter. Like, think about what was that, Jerry Springer, and people was like, this person and slept with their cousin and all this. Like, oh my gosh. Like, people are scared because
whatever happened
like
to
that.
the code? There used to be a code.
People are ruthless.
Did you see what I've learned is the reason there is a code is because there are people who are not going to follow it. We don't set rules for the people who follow the rules.
Right.
Like, you don't need to let it be known if it's going to be followed to the T. Like, a simple thing. You don't have to let people know that death can happen. People just know that. Like, it's just norm. We don't have to be like, oh, don't do this or you might die. Like, we know. Like, the death will come. Right?
Yeah.
No rules on that. But when it comes to your house, a person will walk right up in your house and be like, I didn't know that, you was watching that TV show and I can't just turn the channel when I want to. Be like, you shouldn't feel that comfortable.
Right.
But for some people, they do.
But could it just be because you didn't check them like you should check them in the beginning?
Well, yeah, some people, they
courtesy.
do that. That's true. Because people are going to go as far as you allow them to. But the thing is, a lot of times people are like, okay, well, maybe that was just this time they did that. So, maybe next time they do it, I'm going to check them. But really, you should be checking people the first time because that sets the tone. Like,
But that's the whole thing is like, for example, my wife's friends will come over at times. And I'm like, have not one problem with them coming over and everything. Every now and again, they'll say something. I'm like, whoa. Nah. Oh, well, she said what I say. It wasn't about what she said, what I say.
Yeah.
Because
We both live it.
Yeah.
We both
And
live
that
it.
would be the same thing if my friends came over, which only a few select of my friends come over, but they already know it's like, hey, I ain't about to go piss his wife off
Like,
and think it's going to be okay.
That's
That's
just
right.
understood.
Because I'm definitely going to side with my wife.
hello.
But I'm like, people be over here like, oh, well, it's like, I'll come over to somebody's house, try this and do this. Like, I tell people, anybody come to my house, if you've been to my house more than once, hey, mi casa es su casa. Hey, go, if you want something and it's in the fridge, go ahead. I ain't tripping.
Right.
Oh, if I don't cook something, go ahead. I don't care. Stuff like that, because those are things that boundaries I've already set in my house. Now, if you just randomly bring somebody over and they start messing with my stuff, I'm gonna be like, whoa. I don't know you.
That wasn't extended to them. Like, my house rules ain't like my house amenities. That's not a +1. There's no +1. Like, if Jeremy in the car and then he got his homeboy with him. Granted, I'm like, Jeremy, anytime, bro, walk up in there, do your thing. And because I know Jeremy so well, I'm like, Jeremy ain't finna bring nobody up in my house and then they go try to rob me and I'm not there. He gonna be like, nah, bro, this ain't that house. He gonna check. Right. But I can't say that for every one of my friends. Like, oh, you got such and so with you? Well, you know what I'm saying? Based on who you are and how you operate, I don't feel like you gonna stand up for me and mine if I ain't doing it for myself. So it might not be you. It might be the company you keep.
Yeah.
So I'm like, no, let's just nip that in the bud. There's certain people who get these privileges and there's certain people who don't. Because I'm going to be honest, the whole cheat with my wife thing, personally, I don't think anybody would try it to be for real. So it's not about cheating. It's not about, because my rule is ironclad with my wife. You cheat on me, it's over. Ain't no fixing nothing.
But I think that's what's hurt so many people because they're like, man, they didn't think that would happen to them. And it's happened. And so they're like, how do I prevent that in the future?
Okay. I'm just saying it from me, and I'm just speaking the honest truth. I ain't going to say my truth, but the truth, because that's what it going to be. If I catch y'all, you're both dead. No questions asked. No second chances, no I'm sorry, or any of that. But if I find out about it, oh yeah, me and you gonna fight. Me and her getting a divorce, and we gonna call it a day.
Pushing.
It is what it is. But there's certain, because those are rules. It's like, people should know certain boundaries and limitations they have. Like, certain people, if you ask me for money, I got it, you got it.
Right.
No matter what. Now, there's certain people, I'm like, certain people, you can't ask me for $1 because I know I can't trust you with it.
Right, but saying that we live in a society where people push the buttons. Like, social media to make people bold. They feel like they can say whatever, do whatever, and people are starting to carry that in their daily life. And so, hey,
but that's
you
how
make
people
it clear.
Get messed up now.
This is your boundary.
Like, that's the issues now. People get messed up because of that. Like, that one he wasn't a podcaster. He was one of those YouTubers that were going playing around with people, and he got shot in the stomach because you over here, and he told him, hey, go on about your business, bro. I ain't that person. And he kept on picking at me. He was like, I'm warning you, go on. Next thing you know, he pulled out a gun, bang, shot him in the stomach.
But he gave him warning.
And
but that's that's nice for him to do. But most people, I'm like, I'm not really into that whole warning you phase, bro. I've reached the point
But
like
that's
where
why
I'm,
you have to have that clear boundary up front.
don't do this. Like, I just don't even. We don't even play around in them spaces, fam. So it's probably mine is to be nice to you. Hey, bro.
Right.
You know, if you Outcast said the best, call before you come. You need to call me before you come. But certain people, you can just pull up.
Right.
Like Rich, if Rich just showed him, I'm not tripping. I don't go. Jeremy, I'm not really concerned.
My mom was so big on that call before you come. And I'll never forget as a little girl, like our family came over and they was at the door knocking. She would not let them in because she was like, they ain't called before they came. And as a kid, you like, my cousin's outside. Like, why you won't let them? And I never forget my aunt, her husband was like, let me talk to her. So I just remember him sitting in the living room. He like, don't do this. Everybody's... And she like, no, they should have called. Don't come to my house without calling. But now as an adult, it's like I understand, you know, if I let you just come over whenever, like you don't think you can do that every time. And
I gotta set the bounds. Like, no.
I know, even though I was hurt. I was so hurt.
But the lesson was real. Right. Like, hey.
Yeah, she set the tone.
And especially like one thing I do understand is give people what they should expect. When I told you don't come over here unless you call me, I meant that.
Right.
So even though you didn't expect me to do this, you should expect right now that I'm gonna follow my statements, what I said, to the T.
Right.
Don't come over here unless you call me.
And next time, that's right. You're going to learn because you're not going to waste your gas, nor your time, or your energy going to somebody's house without calling first.
Understood. We're going to keep on pushing. All right. What is important in choosing a long-term relationship? So when you're trying to find that person, what do you feel like is something that's important?
I say first and foremost, having a true relationship with God. But after talking with so many women, I hear it over and over. And they say they didn't have a good example or they didn't know. They thought just because that man went to church that was a relationship with God. But I really feel like it's more paying attention to their actions. Like if you know your faith is important to you, then you need to pay attention to their actions. Are they opening their Bible? Are they really spending time talking to God? Are they seeking Him? And that will help you understand their foundation. Because anybody can go to church and not be paying attention to the word or applying the word. And so it's about like, do they know God? Can they cover you if something happens? Like to pray over you, to be like, you know, or babe, we got this, like together. And then secondly, I feel like, well, I'll let y'all chime in on that first.
Oh, so the God portion, I'm a God-fearing man. Do not get this confused in any way, shape, form, or fashion, okay? Now, if you ask me if I go to church all the time, I'm going to clearly have to tell you that no, I'm not somebody who just frequents the church. Should I continue, like, go more? I personally feel like I should. That being said, when people, and I know people will be like, well, there's those apples and oranges. Just follow me, okay? I go to the hospital when I'm sick, right? I go, and if you go to the hospital and you in a cancer ward, like when you pull somebody up out of there, what do you expect them to have? Cancer.
Right.
So if I'm somebody who's frequently in the church, now don't get it confused. Just because you go to church don't make you holier than holy. I prefer to be somebody like you said. Nah, you need to. Do you got the Bible at home? Is you studying? Is you reading it? Do you have Bible study on Wednesdays with your family like everybody else? Most people that I know, or is it a different day? Like to hear somebody else profess about their gospel or religious journey, such as the pastor or the congregation, it can put it's like the sheep, but it's the wolf amongst the sheep. I'm just here because, you know, this is what they expect. And most women who looking for a God-fearing man, they think the first thing I need to do is go to church. Most of the time, be like, if you went to church looking for your spouse, that might have been problematic. You should.
And maybe that's why a lot of women have been hurt that way.
Well,
yeah. Okay. Because I'm the controversial one.
Okay, go ahead.
So, I don't believe that a man should have to go to church like that, but I believe a man should know God like that.
Right.
And what I mean by know God is like, I have a personal relationship with God.
Right.
Whether I'm in church, whether I'm at my house, whether I'm in my car, I always gotta give praise to the man above. I always hold him as my.
But I think that's important to know where the church is, because as you live life, you're like, you are the church. Like,
right, yes.
you are the church. You don't have to be in a building worshiping God. You can worship God literally, like you said, when you get in your car, when you wake up in your own house.
Right.
Like, what is that relationship like with Christ?
There's so many things that I actually do is like when I go work out. Like every time I work out, I actually will sit in the is this thing called the vibra shake where it is supposed to loosen up your muscles and everything before you work out, all that kind of stuff. So every is like 12 minutes. That 12 minutes, that's my prayer time. Like while I'm doing that, I'm just honestly talking to God. It's just straight talking to God. Me and him, our alone time. And then I go work out and I listen to certain music while I work out. Things like that. I always have to give those praises. But I'm like, you should have something as the head of your life. Even if you are the man of your house, there should be something that's guiding you in the right direction.
Right.
If you don't have, what is it, a North Star, something that's guiding you, where are you going?
And on top of that, to add to it, I just feel there's a space where what I'm saying, granted, because of how I live, you can use it. It's currency, like, but my actions are what you need to pay attention to. That's what it's not. It ain't got nothing to. I'm gonna do what I say, and that's what gives solidarity and validity to my word. But for the most part, no. If I'm doing it, if you want to know how I live and what I do, watch what I do, and based on what you see, if you like how I'm living, ask me what I believe then.
Yeah.
So watch me first, then ask me.
Right. And I think that's where the lines get misconstrued, because so many times women are listening to what was said to them. And they're like, okay, he said he has a relationship, or he says he goes to church, or he prioritizes. But no, you got to pay attention to the walk.
But those are the big issues we have because, for example, we could say for men and women. Women, I learned this a long time ago. Where the mind goes, the body will follow. If you could grab a woman's mind, you could get anything from her.
Yeah.
You get everything she don't want to give you.
Right.
But that's because women hear a lot. Men, visually, we are visual creatures, no matter how anybody wants to burn and turn things. But over time, we start realizing I can't just listen to everything, and I can't just go off of what I see, because she may be gorgeous, but she may be the worst thing for me.
That's
just like
that's the
he
blinder.
may tell me all those things I want to hear, but he ain't doing nothing he's supposed to do.
Right.
That's what. It's always somebody. Once they figure out the cheat sheet,
Right.
it's really what it is. They call it game because it's a game.
Right.
All the time, if you ever frequent video games or playing, you spend a whole lot of time acting like you doing a lot of stuff. If I asked you about because currently you own the Spider-Man, which I've seen it, it's an amazing game.
Hey, Spider-Man 2 go
hard. Okay, but if I ask you about Spider-Man, when you refer to Spider-Man, you always say what? Oh man, I beat such and so, or I stopped this. But that's all a figment of your imagination. There's no credentials behind that outside of your trophies and stuff that go into your PlayStation system.
Right.
Yeah. So it gave me the illusion that I was doing a lot. A guy show up with a woman and I'm gonna give you all these illusions about all this I'm doing. Oh yeah, baby, you know what I'm saying? The chain, even though it came from my cousin, but it's my chain. It's the visual, and you like dudes chain. Baby, I love you.
Right.
I just that I'm gonna give you all these words to bypass what you actually see because you focus more on what you see.
Tell you, I love you.
Vice versa when it comes to women. When it come down to you needing anything outside of the physical person, because I'm gonna keep my makeup done. I'm gonna keep my nails looking right. I'm always gonna smell good. I do all that stuff you visually like.
Right.
But all that stuff that you tell your homeboys that you need in your life, I don't do none of that. So it's like I keep on throwing this little show up, and when your homeboy see me, they be like, man, she bad. And then when you get home, be like, man, she bad at everything. She can't cook, she can't clean, she don't watch kids. She just
But that's why we got to take the time to get to know each other. Because if you take the time to know each other and not rush to the altar or rush for the perceptions. Because I tell people all the time now, women get so fascinated with the idea of marriage. But then once you get married, then what? Like, it's so much more, and that's why you got to look at the internal process of a person, because there might be some things about that person, their character traits that you don't like.
One of the things that I realized in a long-term relationship, we get complacent. Meaning, once we got them, we're like, okay, I got you.
But now, you got to keep doing the same things that you did. Both people, whatever you did to get the person, you got to keep doing that.
I would also say, because we always say do the same thing. Granted, if you went up there and if I was giving you my milk in elementary, and somehow we made it from elementary to marriage, like, fam, don't come in here with no gallon of chocolate milk, bro. Right. That ain't working. That ain't what I need no more.
But that comes from y'all learning each other and knowing each other and growing together. And just like I was listening to one guy, he said his wife pulled him to the side. She said, look, you're not being affectionate anymore like you used to be. So he was like, yeah. And she pulled him to the side again a month later, like, no, like, you used to take me out on dinner and we used to go here and do these things. He said he realized, like, the first time he was looking like, oh, she's complaining. Second time he was like, okay, you know what? My wife is sitting me down telling me that it's something that she needs. Let me pay attention to her. And vice versa. He was like, you know, there's some things I need you to do more. But you also need to understand, he was telling her, like, when I first met you, I had a job that I worked 40 hours, and I had more time. He said, now I'm the CEO. So you got to understand our lifestyle has changed. So I don't have as much time, but I still can show up for you and make the changes. Just know it's going to look different.
Yes. Right. And that's one thing is we have to understand, yes, it's not going to be when we first got together anymore. You're not going to get that back.
Right.
But you can still improve on it. Like, for example, I've heard a lot of dudes when they got married, they were like, yeah, man, we had amazing sex. We did all this stuff. Now she give them the same side booty and all that kind of stuff. Instead of actually, hey, let me dress up for you. Let me do these kind of things. Let's try something new.
But that's where conversations come in at. Like, one of my friends, she said they have a talk. They've been married for like 20 years now. She said they have a talk. Hey, sex is boring. Let's change it up. Like, what you doing? Because people do get into that lackadaisical mindset. But I think it's good where people can both talk without taking offense. Being like, you know what? Okay, she's right. Or he's right. Let me put the outfit back on. Or let me... You know,
I just
not saying it gotta be like that all the time, but
what we have to do as people is understand that life dilutes the love. Like it like over time, life will get so heavy and full of stuff to where love just gets like a little corner, right? Yeah. But in order for a relationship to last, a relationship to keep on progressing, you gotta you were important. Like so because you're important, I gotta make time for what I want.
You gotta be intentional.
I want my wife. So I know that y'all asked me to be at this place at this time, but she needs my time.
Right.
I don't chase this idea of what you want when you got what you want when you got married. It's a thing. It's like, no, you trying to tell me about your homegirls and how they man screwing you up, but I'm not screwing you over. Right. In fact, I'm trying to make it better. So when you talk to me, just like that dude did, life got heavy. I went from mopping floors to cooking fries. It's different. So because I do that, in his situation, he just didn't have the same amount of time that he did. But he was like, what do I have more? Maybe I got more money. Maybe when I do take you out, it's a major event. It's all you, it's all day, it's your thing.
Right.
And that's just to show you that it can't be as frequent, but it can be more concentrated and more solely focused on you and us.
And I'm glad you said that, because that was one of her points. She was saying, like, you're just doing this to check it off a box. but I need you to be intentional, put some thought into it. And that's when things got better for them. When she noticed that he's taking the time to plan out something instead of just being like, oh, I guess I'll just do this. And it's like, nobody wants that. You could have just saved your money and saved your time if you just running through the motions.
Nobody wants to go from a primary thought to an afterthought. When
Yeah.
you got married, it was you.
Hello.
You on my mind. You the first thing.
You.
That's right.
After we get to the married part and we start taking everything for granted, which is mainly you start taking your purse for granted.
Right.
You go from where you were at the forefront of my mind to like you on the back burner somewhere. I'm just keeping you warm, just in case I want to taste it.
And nobody wants that.
Nobody. I don't want to be. I don't want to be the afterthought, the back burner thought. I don't want to be the last person to eat.
Yeah.
I don't. You know what I'm saying? Especially it's hard to take that seat after it was a point in time where I was the first person.
I was
right.
number one.
I was number one.
But then, and I have to say it like this, after the kids and everything else, is like, yeah, like, I'm not trying to be number 4, number 5.
Everybody getting big slices of cake, and you
But
want me to scrape across and figure out how to collect these crumbs up and make a slice. No, be intentional.
Right.
Like,
The same
hey,
way you cut theirs, you cut mine.
Yes. But see, that comes from matching what is poured out. So I feel like it's important that if we both have that mindset of catering to each other and matching each other and pouring into each other with the match energy, I feel like we'll forever be good. But I think what happens a lot of times, people forget about that, or they expect this woman that's the wife, she's supposed to do these things, or they expect the husband that's the man in the house to do these things he's supposed to. And it gets taken for granted. And sometimes people want to hear a simple thank you or just show that you appreciate them. Like, yeah, if you're working a lot, I'm working a lot. Okay, why can't we prioritize each other? Yeah, we have kids, but we still need to prioritize each other for the longevity of our relationship.
Agreed.
I agree with that.
Let me hit that
one
last
more time.
real quick.
All right.
Oh, one thing that I do believe that everybody, no matter who you date, who you're with, you should be able to uplift the person you're with. Because when you do those things, it goes a long way. When you tell somebody you're proud of them, when you tell somebody how
they would work so
beautiful
hard.
they
Think
are,
about our students. They would work so hard.
yeah. And when you tell somebody about, you believe in them, things like that, that touches you on so many different levels because it's like, it make you want to push further, push harder, because that person is behind you, uplifting you.
Yes. That reminds me how that statement that's been going around saying that a woman who is loved properly, she will just give you the whole full 9 yards. And that's true. If her husband is valuing her, pouring into her, and vice versa, she's doing the same for her household and her husband, I mean, their relationship can go to the top.
Right.
It's them against the world.
Just saying it. If you building, then you building. But if I'm building and you destroying, then
it's hard.
We don't move unless I build a lot harder.
It's like someone pulling on your leg. You like your kids, and they be like, "Don't leave," and you trying. I gotta get to work. I gotta do this. You ain't gonna never go anywhere.
It be that way. All right. So, why do people only see the benefits of being the opposite sex? The example would be like, if you ask a guy about a girl, you know what I'm saying? If I was a girl, I had all these dudes, I had all this money, I had dudes be doing this, that, and the third, vice versa. A girl typically talk about if she was a guy, she's like, I had these fees doing any and everything. It's like you always, in comparison, you always see the greener. You never actually. I just be like, in life, you always looking for that negative part. Like the example I gave long ago was, it's fruit in the tree. There's always somebody to tell you about the snakes in the grass.
Right.
And neglect the fact that it's still fruit in the tree. We hungry, it's fruit in the tree. But it's snakes in the grass. Either we need to find another tree or somebody need to be brave enough to fight these snakes. But when we start talking about the opposite sex, forget them snakes. Look at all the fruit they got.
Yeah.
I think it's weighted when you think about from a woman's perspective, because it's like once you have kids, it's like it just feels like a lot of times men, they don't bear our pain as far as knowing what your body goes through mentally and physically to bear kids. Because some men, you might be like, my feet hurt too. Okay, I am literally carrying a life.
Right.
And so I think it just really gets magnified where a lot of women believe or feel like, okay, if I was a man, because like you said, we see the green side. Oh, I wouldn't have to, deal with the childbirth or deal with the cycles every month or deal with different things that you deal with in your body as a woman. And then also the perceived roles of the woman. Like we talked about last time, she's going to work. She got to come home. It's her role and her duty to cook, take care of the kids, and do this. When really, it's a partnership.
True.
And I feel like if we looked at things more like a partnership, then we wouldn't be so much of, okay, if I was a man, I wouldn't have to. I could just go out, get off work, for example, and just come home and kick my feet up, and that's okay. Or whatnot. But I think we would view things differently if we saw it more as collaboration, working together as a partnership, not wanting to be the other sex, for example.
So when I first thought about this, I ain't gonna lie, I was thinking from the man's point of view because I hear so many ladies out here talking about, oh, well, being a man is so easy. I'm like, who told you that lie?
Okay, not to interrupt you, but thinking about what you just said there, women are saying that because I can't tell you how many women I've met or talked to in mental health that they've had this child and the man just left. So you do feel like, dang, it would be better to be a man, and they don't get the scrutiny. I just talked to a lady who said he pops up whenever he feels like it, and every time the kid is like, Daddy, and it's like, but I'm your mama, I'm the one that's been here. But you feel like that because it's like, dang, really?
This is what you got to, because we looking at the life in one spectrum.
Right.
As a married man, I can tell you right now, everything is for the wife. Everything is for the wife.
Got everything.
When it comes to the love, oh, I love you, mommy, da, 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 da. And dad, because especially under the role of disciplinarian,
right.
Nobody likes the law. There's nobody likes the person who comes and be like, you can't pop firecrackers on the 4th of July. Nobody wants that person around.
I guess it depends on the household because a lot of the women are being the disciplinarians. And they're saying the kids are like, but they love the daddies because the daddies kind of let the free range. I guess it depends on who's the disciplinarian.
Again, I have to say it. I could only speak from the point of certain men the men that I've been around and the men like myself. Because, for example, I'm the disciplinarian. I'm the finances when it comes to just order in the house, making sure things are taken care of. I take my children to school every day. Hell, I pick them up half the time. What else? I get them ready for baths.
But see, that's where that partnership comes in, working together. Y'all both had the kids. Y'all both have to work together.
Yeah. So, one of the things that I've seen a lot of times is there are a lot of people that think you see these bad people doing this, getting off easy.
Right.
Oh, they all get off easy. I see a lot of fathers putting in work.
True.
Heavy work.
And there are a lot of fathers who get left with the kids too.
Yes.
But we don't really get to talk or see that part that much.
Because when we talk about, main thing about it, men is beneficial to the opposite sex as it is. And it's equally as negative. It's a double-edged sword. Men are just not vocal.
Yeah.
Yes.
A man struggling, it's like this internal thing of I expect that. I expect everything I go to is going to be challenging. So when I get to a situation where, my wife left me with these kids, it's just another challenge. How do I push through that? She only show up when she wants to. I'm be like, long as my kids have somebody that they know, you got a mom out there. I don't necessarily care if she show up today, tomorrow, or once a year. You got a mama, and when you see her, show her love. Why? Because everything that I got, I don't want my kids to feel like I don't have. You got it. It's just you don't have it the same way everybody else got it. Right. It's a challenge. Whereas women being vocal, when I come to, he only come once a week. Your expectation is to always want more. I always want more. So you can have a guy, like you said, the guy, he's a CEO. And you know he's a CEO. And you know when y'all first got together, y'all was fighting and doing everything to get him the CEO status because there was some goal or some want that you wanted.
But not at the cost of being on the back burner. And so that's why we have to have those conversations and remind, like, hey, like.
The thing about life and what I've just learned as far as how life works, life is like a really expensive store. It don't ever tell you the price. It don't. You just walk up on it and be like, "Ooh, I love that coat.
Right.
Ooh, I love that job title." And then you get it, and it's like, so receipt coming out. So your wife got to take this much time out of her. Your kids got to take this much. Like
You
God
can't be here for this.
Yeah, we spend so much time as men fighting the world, and the home suffers because it's like you get tunnel vision in the war for success. And when women, like that whole 9-month period while women are going through, like, I'm making a life and he doesn't care. I want women to understand this imposter syndrome hits hard. Like if you a dude really finna do it, like imposter syndrome and the feeling of inadequacy hits you all at once. And most of the time, for some dudes, it don't really hit until you pick the kid up. It's like, I'm all this kid got. Like, you're not all the kid got, but you feel like if anything touches this, they dead.
Yeah.
But I think what women are pushing for more is communicate that. Because they feel like, if you're going through something like as your spouse, like you got to communicate in a sense. Like you might not know how to, but like, hey, as a black man, it's hard out here. So you got to communicate because a lot of times women don't know. We can't read your mind.
I mean, one of the, I'm just speaking from a black man is because there are, we do not communicate always in the best way. But one of the things is you don't deal with things the same way we would have to deal with it. For example, honestly, I rarely have ever seen a homeless woman. Why? Because there's always somebody there to depend or lift you up. No matter what you say, you want to say, there's a way for you to get what you want and not have to deal with it.
Typically, Section 8 homes, 2 kids, white woman. I'm gonna I just gotta throw that white woman in. I know it's a slug, I know, but I have to. But it's not meant that way. But for the most part, it's documented movies and all that to depict this. But the truth is, if a man is in the house, then you can't be on this program.
Yeah.
So there's somebody somewhere has orchestrated it to where, hey, either you're gonna have a man or you're gonna have my support.
Right.
And that goes.
You can't have them both.
You can't have them both. So, but with a guy, you need to support yourself at all times. So, like I said, when you get to that kid part, the reason the money increased in the household to support a whole new life that's gonna be eating up all your food and tearing up all your stuff, that guy had to go and fight for that. And majority of the time, the jobs in which we do, like before I got into my current profession, I was working up there. I'm dealing with boilers, air handlers, all this stuff. It's people, they tell you the story, bro, such and so died. You don't know how numb you grow to that until they telling you the story and you like, oh, that's crazy. So we gotta go work on one of those. It's like, oh, okay. And you don't even bat an eye. You just like it's part of it.
Certain things that, and it's not to say men are so powerful, men are this, men are that. It's just because we hear a lot of times about what women do. And I give all praise and power to women about it because y'all are strong, y'all are beautiful, y'all are loved, all those kind of things. But a lot of times when you hear from the guy, they just got easy over there. They ain't got because they didn't have a baby. I'm like, I understand I ain't have a baby. But if you look at this world right now, if we keep it 1,000, this world was built by men. The luxuries that we have in this world were by men. The cars, the roads, the buildings, all those jobs that you like, hell, I ain't going up there to do that. A guy got up there and did that.
Right. And not to take from what men did.
Yes.
But a part of the reason why he climbed the building is because he just fixed customer complaints. Like, I'm tired of having to go down here and get the water from the lake. Somebody need to build a way to put it in the house. Where men, our primary issue as men is we are too comfortable with silent suffering. Yeah. Too comfortable with it. Like, I'm going to just deal with it. I'll just do it. Whereas with women, no, I'll deal with it and I'll say something about it. Just because I'm doing it doesn't necessarily mean I'm happy about doing it.
Yeah.
And if a guy gets up and complains too much about something, the first thing they want to say is, "Oh, there's an attack for that. Oh, he acting feminine right now. He acting like a female." But I'm
What's
like,
that other
it
word
ain't
now?
acting like
Sassy.
a female. Yeah, he's sassy. But I'm like, it ain't that he's sassy, fam. It's just that he, just like you, he saw a point where there can be a fix. There can be something better.
Right.
Like we don't have to just accept that. If for most men, because a lot of dudes can relate to intercourse. Hey, we ain't just gotta had a granny panty side sex. Like you can put on the lingerie and the this and that.
Yeah.
Or we ain't gotta do the bare minimum and think that that's okay because we surviving. Like
Right.
we can do more for not just me as a guy, but for you. More.
Like, I do believe that men do need to speak up more. There's a difference between actually speaking about it and then just whining.
Right. 'Cause
Like,
the thing
I don't
is, what's the
believe men
solution?
should whine about nothing because I'm like, hey, those are the hands that life gave us.
Right.
God let y'all have babies. We suffer with some stuff. It's like, it is what it is.
But it has to be a solution. I will say a lot of people who come in for therapy, a lot of times people just want to talk. But when you start guiding them to solutions and utilizing different modalities, you can tell the ones that are like, nah, I don't want to change. I just want to talk about it. But there's power in the change and knowing there's a solution. So that's the thing. Like when couples do have those arguments, you just made me think about that. You have to have what's the solution? Because us talking about it, going round and round, that's not going to do nothing. And so both people have to have that mindset though, to like, okay, what is the solution to stop this from happening again, or from us having to keep coming to the table? Like, okay, if you say the food ain't good, okay, what's the solution? Maybe get on Pinterest, get some more recipes, or maybe you take a day or two, I take a day or two. Something, there has to be some type of solution. And a lot of people, they're not coming up with solutions for what they're saying. They just want to talk or vent or complain, and that ain't doing nothing.
Right. And on the other side, because a guy come through and be like, I'm giving solutions and all that. But the thing about it is, you also need to stop not being vocal. It's a way to say stuff. There's a way to talk to people. And the fact that the problem is we don't do it enough. So everybody, when you see something that's different from the norm, you instantly want to like downplay it. He was saying, guys, like he was saying, and I was saying, guys need to speak up more. There's also a space where guys have to get to a place to where even though people may complain that you're complaining, that does not take away the fact that your complaint is valid.
Right.
There has to be somebody who's gonna go through that and be like, yeah. They saying I'm acting like a fee, but look, this is what it really is. Okay, you ain't doing this. Yeah. You said that I'm okay. I hear you, but the fact is, I'm telling you about this is because this is what it is. The same way your wife do, but you just got to figure out a way to do it to where you still seem masculine. Maybe you don't, wave your finger or something. I don't know. But you need to say what you feel and mean it the exact same. Because,
that could break into a whole nother topic, but we're not going to do that because we want to make sure she shouts out her book and everything.
Oh, of course. That's really what I'm trying to.
One of the things I was thinking about, could it be because we're so worried about being masculine that we don't say what we need to say? Because, okay, like, for example, there's so many issues that I think we're worried about women saying, oh, we look soft or feminine, and so we don't want to say it to you because it's like, I don't want more. The worst thing the dude want is his woman to think he weak.
The thing about it, though, is anything that doesn't present itself in the way that we expect it would be, I gotta call it something. And because I don't have a term for it in the masculine space, I've seen my homegirl do it. Right. You acting like a fee. You being weak.
But also you do need to say something, because if not, how can people know what to fix if you just don't say nothing? Because that's the thing. People are like, well, you hadn't said nothing all this time. So
I just feel like as far as men and women, we get into a space where the way we move and operate, we trying to find this singularity, and it's not working. So you'll get a female who she don't really talk about her problems. And her main statement, which is, I don't need a man. Okay, you don't need a man. A guy tell anybody, I don't need nobody. Like that's
I need women though.
Understood. We reached that point. But the truth is, especially in my early 20s, bro, I don't need nobody. I can do this. I feel invincible. I ain't got no physical injuries. And every dime that I'm spending, I'm making. So I don't need nobody. Until you get to where you 30 and you're like, oh, well, shoot, I do want some kids or something. I need somebody. I just don't. Now I got so used to my whole mantra on life been, I don't need nobody. I don't need nobody. Now how do I go back and eat that crow and tell people, no, bro, I do need somebody to listen to. I got a lot of mental going on.
Everybody needs somebody.
And that's what we have to get to. If there's women who are projecting a super strong image, we need to stop saying that you're projecting a super strong image. It's not you projecting a super strong image. Life has dealt you a hand to where you feel like that's what I need to survive. Mm-hmm. If guys are saying, hey, I don't feel like the hand I'm being dealt is something I necessarily have to have. Like I don't have to, it's not a challenge. Because the only issue is the only thing holding me back from what I really want is me telling you to stop doing what you're doing. Stop hurting me. It's not nothing I can switch or change to fix this for you. Mm-hmm. I just need you to listen right now, as opposed to thinking I've got to go find a solution. The solution is you. If you ain't going to be the solution, then you're going to be the problem. Vice versa. If you as a guy ain't going to hold up your end of the bargain, yeah, I had the kid. So we going to take care of it. It's not that whole show, that weekend father stuff that's played out. No, you're going to have to be in their life, even if you're not with me.
That's right.
You got to be here.
Yeah.
So it's got to a space where we have to, men, you need to communicate at the risk of being considered a little bit sassy. I'm not saying go overboard. Because even me, I gotta put that caveat in there, because I know some dudes gonna be like, gotcha. I know some dudes gonna be like, no, I really need the dude, but I'm gonna cut this short because I really want this book to get shout out. So we going to You Won't Believe This, You Won't Believe This, brought to you by no, we're gonna make sure. I just need this to have shout this out, show some love.
All right, so I have this amazing workbook here, Emotional Inner Healing, that you can go to focusyoursuccess.com and you can get this copy. I took it from everything that my clients have been through, and just helps you to go through it, work through it, from just being whole mentally, physically, and spiritually. So you're not in these streets hurting people, because we know hurt people, right? Yeah. And then we also have this amazing book, Stop the Drama, Stop Comparing, and Focus on You. This is for our teen girls out here, helping them have a solid foundation so they can be ready when they enter the real world and just know what they got to do to survive.
That's what I'm talking about. Also, don't forget the podcast.
Yes, so you can also follow me, subscribe to Empower, the letter U _crown up, where we talk about empowering our moms, our educators, and entrepreneurs to cultivate better relationships and prioritize their mental health. And you guys will also be seeing something for the people on my podcast as well. As well as we're on everything. You can find us on iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, and we just got promoted to have our own TV show, so Love TV. So stay tuned for so much more with Empower You _crown up.
Y'all make sure y'all show her some love.
Yeah, pull up.
Hey, she's an amazing guest. I'm glad that she comes out here. I'm glad the work that she's doing in the community.
And especially the work she's doing for these people in these relationships. Because at a certain point, we got to start big enough to people who keeping people together, especially in a world that seems like it wants to separate everybody. We got an author and a counselor who's trying to, no, let's deep dive, dissect, analyze, and figure out how can we, if we can't keep you together, how can we make this a better situation for you moving forward?
Yes.
And that's what I'm at.
And also, before we get off of that, I have to do a big shout out. Thank you to all the mothers out here that are doing what you do.
Yes.
You are loved. You are uplifted. I'm sorry for the trash dudes out there, but there are good dudes out here that are really have to say thank you. We were raised by great mothers. Like, obviously made greatness right here, but I'm gonna take a tone back, a little bit back. But honestly, thank you for what you do. Like, you are appreciated.
Show the wife some love.
As always, love to shout out my beautiful wife. Love you, baby. Y'all check out Traces Like Mine, Yanni Like Mine, and Wasted Desires. You can go on wasteddesires.com. They have waist beads, anklets, bracelets, thigh chains, all those different things to make your body shine. Then you have Traces Like Mine. This is hair care product for a black woman by a black woman to help black people in general, not just women but men. Then you have Yanni Like Mine. Ladies, if you don't know what your Yanni is, look it up. It does not clean itself.
Understood. So on top of that, we got Tyler Bailey, Luxury Clothes by a Luxury Guy. We got, how you doing? We got my cousin Mike. He shoots a podcast very similar to our own, but keep in mind it is not like our own. It is SOB, and no, it is not that way. It is not that way. It is state of being. I repeat, state of being. Talks about a lot of things. If you don't like what he's talking about today, listen to him tomorrow. I'm sure he gonna hit a subject that's near and dear to your heart. On top of that, so recently, last episode, I told you about me going through the process of trying to come out with these clothing. I hope to get my website up to date. That's what I'll be discussing with his wife.
Yeah.
So that being said, currently it is called The Nines, and it's based on the angel numbers, and it's for basically when you move on to the next chapter, right? So it's moving on to the next chapter and starting anew, right? Everything that you dealt with before, you've mastered that. Now you're moving into the new phase, right? And it's also about fulfilling one's purpose, which also leads to the next chapter. I have a shirt. Like I said, I have a website. When I get the website and everything set up today, I'll come back and let you all know. Most likely I'll have some form of a link where you can jump on. But keep that in mind. It's called The Nines, and the DA is just like in Something for the People, okay? DANINE, and I threw a Z on there because I feel like other people use the S, and it just increased my chances of copyright and being able to get person.
Like that.
Because that is a Something for the People product, right? I have to let you know about these people who really bringing this to you right now and bringing that to you. That is Something, the number 4, DA People. If you're on YouTube, type podcast at the end of that. It's going to minimize those search results and bring us up a whole lot quicker. If you're on any streaming platform, like, share, subscribe. If you wish to leave a a rating, a star rating, 5 stars only. We wish to be 5 stars generals. You got to understand that does a lot for us as Something for the People. It helps the algorithm push us out to more people, but on top of it pushing us out to more people, when they see that there's someone most likely very similar to how they operate and how they live and they like it, the chances of them giving us that 5-star review is pushed up just a little bit more. People. Moving on, jumping in, you won't believe this. I know, because of the jump cut you're going to see. It's going to feel like Big Country teleported from one seat to the other, but he does not have that type of power.
So I wish I did.
Government, do not come and seek my homeboy out thinking you finna get something. He just walked over there. Okay? That's all he did. He just
something
walked.
like that.
All right? There's no technology over here that does that anyway. All right. Jumping back in, you won't believe this. For Christmas, the grandparents purchased a laptop and a phone for their biological granddaughter. But they do not buy one for the step-granddaughter. This, in turn, sparks a big argument online as to should it be equal? Were the grandparents right? Were the grandparents wrong?
So, I was listening to this one on the radio, and they were talking about it during Christmas time. They found out that their daughter was getting teased a little bit at school because she didn't have a phone or a laptop like all the other kids. I'm like, obviously it had to be a privileged school for you just,
Had that type of pressure.
Yeah, like, oh, you ain't got a phone or a laptop?
Oh, you lame.
It's like, that was just, but I'm like, okay. So the grandparents didn't have a lot of money. So what they ended up doing was going into their savings, and they bought her a MacBook and they bought her a new phone. But their son ended up getting married to another woman, and she had a daughter too. I think they only been married like 6 months or so. And the daughters were around the same age. So the wife took issue with it because she was like, why would you buy something for one grandchild but not the other grandchild?
What took place here is women have been fighting for equal rights for so long. It just seems like it needs to pour over into aspects of life that it doesn't necessarily need to seep over into. The same way when you're dealing with a guy and he's just naturally stronger than you, sometimes the bond is naturally stronger. So you recently got married. Those grandparents, until they declare that child their grandchild, they still gonna keep that step in there. You just a step removed. You got to keep in mind the hours, the years that one child has logged with this set of people, to where she could come through and tell her grandparents about an aspect of her life that she's not really comfortable with because she's getting teased, for them to feel so compelled to be like, my child not gonna go through that. The real question that people should be asking is, why didn't that other grandchild, if she is going through the same thing, because I don't know, but why didn't that other grandchild feel like she could reach out to those set of grandparents with that same situation, with that same issue? Because I don't call people and ask for money unless I know, like, hey, bro, I've logged enough hours, which I feel like I can reach out to, because at a certain point I have to put myself in this vulnerable state, let you know that, hey, I didn't reach the level I intended to reach as far as whether it be my finance or whatever, and I gotta divulge information to you that I'm not gonna willingly give that information up to the stranger on the street or somebody who just recently got into my life. So for a child to come up and be like, no, I am getting teased, which is a form of bullying.
Yeah.
I do feel some type of way that all my friends have it and I don't. And I know it might be some very small to you, but it's big to me because ain't much bigger in my life than the admiration and respect of my friends from that small, piece of life. So, yeah, I bought it for you. And just because I bought it for one doesn't, it like you looking at it like it's malice intent. It ain't. Those grandparents may have only been privy to that one child's struggle, and they saw fit to fix that one child's struggle. I know in your mind, well, if they got married, she go to the same school, then no, it don't work like that. When I'm presenting with an issue, I fix that problem. Now, if that problem fixes all the other ones, then cool. If I bought one phone because my finances were meager and my accommodations wasn't, then I'm not saying that she can't use the phone too. And if you on the phone and you on the laptop, then you just being selfish. You can let her use the laptop sometime. Yeah. But understand, when I purchased the laptop, I bought it for you. When I purchased the phone, I bought it for you. So if you got any issues in relation to that phone or that laptop, if you take them both away, that other child shouldn't have nothing to say.
So I could see it from both ends. Like, I could see it from the point, and like my mom, she was a stepchild too. And they got and my big mama and her husband got together and everything. He had kids, she had, and also had my grandmother had her. So one of the issues that my mom felt at one point in time was that, oh, well, I mean, I'm here just like everyone else. Like, I shouldn't be treated as any different than anyone else because I didn't ask for this, and I didn't ask for my parents not to be together. But since y'all got together, then I believe we should all be treated the same. And I could agree to that point, but the reason why I say I'm like, because I'm like, yes, if I marry, like if me and my wife got divorced and I marry someone else with kids, those kids end up becoming my kids end up becoming her kids. But my mother and all those people, they didn't ask for it, and you can't say, "Oh, because I did it, you have to accept it."
Right. No, and to add to that, I don't want people to get to the point where it's not an acceptance. Your family has already accepted you and the things that you do. If you did somehow get another situation with some kids and all that, yeah, ain't nobody gonna be like, "Oh, you wrong." No, you living your life.
Yeah.
You doing that. The thing is, when it comes to that other child in that particular situation, when it comes to that other child, the laptop and the phone, if you felt that bad about it, it's not the grandparents' responsibility to fix it. It's not their job. If you feel like there's an inadequacy or you feel like there's a space in here where one child feels like they're getting a disservice because she don't have the same grandparents as this one, if you feel that heavy about it, fix it. Go buy your baby a laptop. And because y'all have put everybody in a difficult situation, it's not what's considered, I mean, well, technically this time it is pretty normal, but it's not ideal circumstances. Right? Ideally, you want to be with and have kids solely with the woman that you get married to the first time. Okay. However, we do live in a world where it is, not everything work out. Sometimes, like I said, life is an expensive store. They don't show you the price tag before you get it.
Yeah.
So when you get with her and it costs a little bit too much. What I need to be, I went to the wrong store. I'm supposed to go to one that had tags on it. You found a new one. Cool.
Like, I don't know. I do understand that. Honestly, you didn't have to buy her a MacBook Pro and stuff.
She did.
No, you didn't. You didn't have to buy her the MacBook Pro. You could have bought her the MacBook Air and bought the other daughter some whatchamacallit,
iPad.
iPad.
You could have bought them both iPad minis and probably saved a whole lot more.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Hell, iPad mini or hell, just a regular iPad.
Yeah.
Pay $200, $300 at best.
I mean, you got to also go by Gen because you don't want to have it where I just got an iPad, but it's like Gen 3. It's like, baby, look. You could have kept that. It's running slow. You just got it's running slow.
Okay, so the whole idea I'm just saying is you didn't have to buy her the most expensive thing on the market. Like, what's higher than the MacBook Pro?
Ain't no bigger than the MacBook Pro.
Exactly.
The solid
so,
drive, no.
But that's what I'm saying is the fact that you bought your daughter, your granddaughter, a MacBook Pro, which you're well within your right to buy it. But I'm like, honestly, just thinking about it is like, would I want to pay that much, knowing that they're going to be in the same household, knowing how siblings and certain people be acting and stuff. And if you say, oh, I don't care, now you're starting to cause issue then.
No.
Okay, for example,
I'm let you finish, my bad.
Okay, for example, that's like the lady that was talking about, oh, well, you can't bring my child, your child McDonald's, but all the other kids in the house don't get McDonald's. I was one of the people that said, hey, I would take my child with me so they could go get McDonald's and then bring them back to the house. Nah, you can't do that neither. Now you're being wrong because you tell them what I can and cannot do with my child in general. But if that's almost like you waving the McDonald's in front of all the other kids' face being like, hey, I'm sorry you ain't got this parent or this grandparent, but you don't get it.
What I'm saying is it's insensitive both ways. I have to shell out more money because you chose a lifestyle. No. How I move for the people I love is how I move with the people I love. If I want you to have a MacBook Pro with all the bells and whistles, that's what I'm going to get you. And I know you're going to go to a space where it's going to be people who hate that you got it and they don't. I know this. But my display of love for you is purchasing this for you. when it comes to the kid at the McDonald's. I was 100% in agreement. Hey, let me get my kid. I'm going to run them over here to this McDonald's, get them something to eat, and bring them back. If you say no, that's you.
Yeah.
The thing about it is, my kid's hungry whether we fix this or not. So you can either let my kid get this food, or my kid going to have to go hungry. And it's not because I didn't want him to eat. It's because you didn't want him to eat. Nobody told you to be so irresponsible that you got multiple baby fathers and all of them running up in the same house and you couldn't get it under control. That's you. Vice versa. As bad as it sounds like I'm really insensitive to people who get divorced and remarried. I'm not. I'm just a person, a messenger of reality. That's all I'm doing. We're in a situation to where I can't give you the ideal responses because there are no ideal responses. There's no way that the grandparents get out and somebody's not happy. I mean, and everybody's happy. I'm sorry. There's no way that I go into my savings account and I pull out 2 MacBooks and 2 iPhones just because you married somebody else. Because then that puts me in a financial bind and you're not obligated to fix that financial bind for me. There's also no space to where the kid, I go and bring them something that's an inferior product and expect them to give me the same joy and admiration. Like, oh, grandparents are just outdated.
What about Windows? What about Windows or Gateway or something?
Bro, I can go show you an Alienware laptop that is built for gaming and all those things that is far superior to the MacBook Pro as far as specs. Personally, I'm a Mac guy. I can show you that, and it will break the bank. It will break. Literally, you bought 2 MacBooks buying that one laptop. It got a dual exhaust on the laptop, and I'm not lying when I say it has a dual exhaust. It has a dual exhaust on a laptop for cooling. Tech world, I'm out of there. I got to get back. What I'm saying is this. I'm not someone who wishes to lessen my love for one out of fear that they, like, other people are going to see it and be upset with them about it. And now, don't get me wrong. If you sitting out here and you getting robbed at gunpoint, I'm not finna bring up the diamond necklace I bought you. Like, no, if you hiding it in your shirt, good for you. But amongst family, everybody understands it. I really feel like we all should. No. What I do for you ain't guaranteed to be what I do for them. Just like with your kids.
Yeah.
There'll be a time where you got to go and buy a laptop because this kid's going off to college. And I don't necessarily need to get you one because you're probably not going yet. Or I need to go get you the prom dress as opposed to the tuxedo. I need to go get the car rental and all. I got to go do stuff that you ain't going to get. And it's not because I love you any less. Or if your grandparents do help, then it's like, well, maybe they in a space where they remember what it was like to not have and they don't want you to go through that. If it's a problem for you, we just talked about it. If it's a problem for you, it's okay to be vocal. Speak your piece. No, you can't buy her that and not buy her that. Why not? Because it's not right. So, am I to right this wrong or you to right this wrong? You a parent. You saw the discrepancy. You know I didn't do it out of malice intent. Like, I didn't do it because I thought that she was gonna be upset. I did it because when I'm a person, and it'll happen. It happens to me all the time. I'm a person. I buy you things when I think about you. Like when it's your birthday, I would rather come without a gift than to bring you a gift card, unless I know it's a gift card to a spot that you gonna go to. I want you to have things that you like and let you know that when I see stuff, I think about you. So if I didn't buy you the laptop, it's because I didn't think you needed one. And I'm not just buying it frivolously to give you. I didn't think about you because that wasn't something you presented to me. And that's why when I talked about it initially, I was like, maybe that grandparent, or she didn't feel comfortable enough with these new people that's her parent, grandparents, to where I'm going to tell you my issues at school. And because you didn't, we so eager to say closed mouth don't get fed, but the second one don't get fed, we want to slap the chef. No. You didn't say nothing, most likely, because you don't really know these people for real,
Yeah.
and you haven't built up that rapport. And this one did.
Mm.
I'm not gonna fault you for that. You bought for them, and now the parents see that. Well, hey, in the future, this is a learning. In the future, maybe we just buy them some HPs, and you can get 2 HPs. But for right now, I do enjoy the fact that my daughter has a laptop, and hey, you gonna be sharing that laptop until we can get your sister something equivalent, or maybe we can get away with an HP for you, and we'll get you the upgraded iPhone. I don't know what this looks like, but I'm gonna fix it on my end because it's not your fault. You did what you did for the people you love, and I'm not gonna knock you for showing love to your people unless you Hitler.
I mean, like I said, I understand both ways. I'm like, I do believe you should have got us something then.
But
Like you
we
can't
don't
be
know.
like you can't be. You know as well. If you got 2 siblings around the same age,
Right.
you cannot sit here and tell me you don't know the rules. What you do for one, you have to do for both.
Nuh-uh.
Like you can't.
That's
You
not
can't.
true.
Even back in the day,
Nobody, bro, I'm telling you this. Nobody believes that. That's a
when
statement.
when your parents went shoe shopping, they did not be like, you know what, we're gonna get just you some shoes. They never hit you with that, and
What
you
I'm
can't even
saying
say
is,
that
but
one.
what I'm saying is this: we are putting filters on it where we adding this intent that was evil or insensitive. It's not that. I honestly don't believe that's what took place. Did you not say that they recently got married?
Yeah, I think it was 6 months.
You been married 6 months? So I show you, Kate, show up, and he had a girlfriend that's been coming to Christmas for 10 years. 10 years he got this fee that's been pulling up, and you like, man, I'm so happy for you, son, because she fine. You know she fine. And you just want to be like, I'm so happy. Yes, yes. You know what I'm saying? She been pulling up for 10
Okay.
years, and you, in your mind, you're like, this the one for him. I'm going to buy her a gift for this Christmas. You go out, you buy her something, and you like, he give it to her, but a year later they break up. Look, 6 months later they break up. Then he brings a brand new girl to Christmas. 6 months in. And he look at you like, why didn't you buy her no gift? She heard about what you bought for the other girl.
Hold up, you also gotta take to this account the fact that if they've been married 6 months, they've been dating longer than 6 months.
How do you know that?
Hold up, we're not gonna hit that,
bro. We in the age where people get married in a month. People get married in 6 months. Like, just because you 3 months in, people be like, I'm and you got married to a woman that wasn't right for you in the beginning. So I can guarantee you probably make some decisions that's not as rational as you think they are. J-Lo and Ben Affleck divorced and then married again. Let's just be real about it. I mean, I appreciate bringing it to the table. I don't know. They probably could. I dated you this 6 months. I liked you this 6 months. Of course, I've shown you to my parents in this 6 months, but it's not like we doing anything new. You got kids, I got kids. You was probably married, I was probably married. It's not like some grandiose event changed to where no. 6 months later,
we're gonna have to look into this one a little deeper.
I'm just saying what I'm saying. 6 months versus
so what if it was a year?
Years. 1 year don't change. Usain Bolt can't cover that distance. If I get a snail and I let the snail run on the track for multiple years, like 10 years, the distance covered by a snail, Usain Bolt can't cover it. You can't cover it.
Well, snails ain't gonna last 10 years though.
Theoretically, let's put a roach down.
Yeah,
nuclear holocaust. I don't know, but what I'm saying is the amount of distance covered, the amount of Christmases that kid has already come over here and I bought you stuff and I'm invested. It's like a TV show. I'm not gonna give you the same amount of hours logged on my Netflix account if you a new show. I might binge watch. But when I get to the show, when the show that I know I like come back on, I'm clearing stuff out. I need to clear my schedule. God of War. Shout out God of War. Yeah. Spider-Man, bro. I saw the game, an amazing game. I played a little bit. It went hard to me for the little bit I had. If they said you got to pick between Spider-Man and God of War, and they like, it's not that you ain't going to own both, but you got to determine which one you going to give more hours to right now in store. I'm going to be like, God of War. Spider-Man going to collect dust. I'm going to give it 30 minutes and then spend the rest of the 7.5 on that God of War. That's just exactly what's going on. The investment. We can't neglect the investment that the child put in with them grandparents. I saw you in Pampers. I most likely held you when you was in Pampers. I carried you to stores. When I speak, you listen. We can't take away that. I high horse that.
And on the
I high horse that.
and on that note, this
It's been another episode of Something for the People.
Y'all be easy.
Hold it down.